In this video, I'm going to break down how creator businesses can figure out if their ads are working. This is one of the trickiest challenges creators face when growing their business. I'll show you what metrics to watch, how to track them, and most importantly, how to use those metrics to grow your business. I'm Keith Perhac, founder and CEO of SegMetrics. I've spent 10 years building one of the best marketing analytics tools out there. And before that, I spent a ton more years working with some of the biggest creators in the business. I help them optimize their marketing and double their growth year after year. Let's dive in. So the big question we have is, how do we know our ads are working? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the advertising report here in SegMetrics, and we can start to see all of the information that our ads are bringing in. So this is bringing in information directly from Facebook and Google and all your ad platforms, and then combining that together with the pixel data and with the contacts and the revenue that you're seeing in your CRM and in your payment gateways. And so we can see here that how much ad spend we're getting, number of leads, cost per new lead, number of customers we got out of ads, and the amount of revenue that we've generated from those ads in this time frame, and especially this return on ad spend. And we can graph this all over time. So this is all kind of top level stuff, to be honest. I mean, new leads are really nice because they're actual people in your CRM. And one of the nice things about SegMetrics is that when we say you have 1,300 new leads or 167 customers, you can click on this number and get a list of those people. So we can go in and see exactly who each of those customers were, how much they paid. And if we want to go even further in, we can go into their full customer journey and start to see, okay, here's where they came from originally, here's what they did next, etc., as we really kind of prove the data that we are looking at in these ads and in this ad group. This is much better than something like Facebook, where they'll say, oh, you got 100 leads or you got $1,000, but you're not going to be able to tie that back to actual people in your CRM or in your payment gateway. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how we would optimize for this. So the main thing is that we're looking at how many leads did we get? How much did we spend to get those leads? And then how much did we earn for those leads, right? And the total number that we get at the end of that is that return on ad spend, right? And so looking at this top level number, you want your return on ad spend to be about more than 125%, right? Within that 30-day window. Now, this can definitely change based on the industry that you're in or any of that sort of stuff. Because, for example, let's take SegMetrics, for example. In SegMetrics, we have a 14-day trial. And so we are not trying to necessarily get our return on ad spend during that first 30 days, because that'd be very difficult with a 14-day trial, but we are trying to get it within the first 60 days. So we have a 60-day return on ad spend target that we're trying to hit. Whereas if you're in e-com or something like that, you'd probably want return on ad spend immediately within that first 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, etc. Right? So this is all a good number to have, but one of the things that you want to be aware of is that the return on ad spend and the cost per lead and the cost per acquisition are all different depending on segments. So one of the things that you really want to be able to do is come down and look at things in the campaign level and in the set level and even in the ad level and be able to say, okay, here's how many new leads we got for each of these. Here's how much we spent. And then we can start to see what is the overarching distribution between how each of our campaigns are doing. So we can see here our retargeting is bringing in a huge number of leads compared to our other systems. And if we look at our cost per lead, we actually see that that's way down at the bottom, which is where we want it. So you can see on this little graph here how much of a difference it is between that YouTube retargeting and that Facebook retargeting as far as that cost per lead here, right? And then we can see that same thing with our ROAS, just completely obliterating everything else, and our cost per customer, cost to acquire a customer. Now, one of the things here is, yeah, so this Facebook retargeting is completely obliterating everything else. But let's say, okay, we understand Facebook retargeting is really impressive. We're doing great. I want to not focus on that. I want to focus on these other things that we're doing right here and just kind of ignore this. So what we can do here, we can filter in. You can see now we're only looking at retargeting, and we can come up here and reverse that. So we can say, okay, we're looking at the same attribution model, this full funnel attribution model, but we're looking at it without the retargeting. So anyone who clicks on a retarget or anything, we're just going to ignore that click and we're going to attribute them back to what else is bringing them in. And then we start to see this conversation happen as well, where our webinar campaigns is doing a lot better. We're getting almost a 70% ROAS after 30 days. We're seeing a nice cost per click and a cost per lead here. And again, for any of these metrics, we can click this button, jump in, and see the exact people that are making up these reports. So this is really what we want to start looking at, which is what is that return on ad spend in that time window that we want? And based on your type of company, you want to change that window to either be a 14-day, 30-day, or 60 or 90 days, depending on the type of company. And then how much is it costing you to acquire a new lead? And how much is it costing you to acquire a new customer? Because remember, so this is something else that's very important, is that a lead and a customer are two very different things. And a lead and a valuable lead are two completely different things. So let's go back to SegMetrics as an example, where we get a lot of leads for our newsletters, for our playbooks, for some of the webinars we do, etc. Not all of them convert to trial. What we really want to know is not how much it costs us to get a new lead, but how much it costs us to get a new trial. In this demo data, we don't have trials set up, but I can come in here and do tag name, and we're going to use equals. We're going to use our webinar as an example. So just imagine that this is a trial. But now we can come in and say, okay, it cost us $100 to get a new lead, but it costs us $1,000 to get a new trial, because that is the number that we really want. So what you really need to do is figure out what is the type of customer, where in the funnel do you get value out of people before they become a customer? And how much does it cost you to acquire those? So if you're in e-com, it would probably be to start the checkout. Or if you're in SaaS like we are, it's to start the trial. Whatever that is, how much does it cost someone to take that action, that cost per action? And then you can work off of that to get your return on spend. I hope that helps. If you'd like to see how this works in your business with your data, you can sign up for a 14-day free trial of SegMetrics. Learn more at segmetrics.io. Thanks for watching.